All right, welcome to another episode of Big Mike and Little Ant. This is episode 7, believe it or not, and we're just keeping it going, 1 week at a time here in the quarantine edition,
Oh
for right
yeah.
now. Um, and as you know, we are the show that talks about everything, light topics, topical stuff, movies, music, food, whatever you want to talk about. So it's one of
Yes.
those shows where we just dive into everything, and we're excited to bring you another episode. We are your co-hosts together, Big Mike and Little Ant. Say what's up, Ant.
Yes. Guys, thanks for tuning in once again. Thank you for getting us to get to 7 episodes because you guys love it. We love it. So it's a good connection between the viewers and the host ourselves. So
And make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe as
that's right.
always. Get us our subscriptions up there. So we want to dive right into this. And start with, we're trying to get to the updates of what's going on with the COVID since
Yep.
this is still pressing, especially in the United States of all places. And things are starting to look better,
Yeah.
every single day or week. Uh, we start to open up, more things and more things are available to us. And this week, outdoor gatherings were increased to 25 people,
Yes.
which basically means you can have a decent sized barbecue, I would
Yeah.
say, more than anything. I think indoor is still 10, but, summertime anyway, so who's indoors really, right?
You
So,
know what's cool though? Because that give people a little sense of normalcy. Like again, today is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day episode for us.
oh, yeah, we're going to have a Memorial Day episode for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. And happy Memorial Day for all the people who gave their lives to this country. But I think it's really cool to have the open up to 25 in New Jersey on the heels of Memorial Day. So that's really cool because people are having the quote unquote quarantine funk and feeling down. But man, 25 people, let's go. You know,
Yeah, I mean, most barbecues, unless you're like throwing a party, but most barbecues are more than 25 anyway, especially
right,
for family items, stuff
right,
like that.
yeah.
So,
So that's pretty good.
yeah. I agree with that. And then, the whole, I guess the I guess the official reopening for the beaches where this was a Memorial Day weekend as well, even though they were open
Right.
before that. But so my mom and my grandparents, they went down there actually yesterday. They went to Seaside Heights and stuff, and they said it wasn't. They said it was nice to get on the boardwalk. The food places were open, so that boardwalk food, which is hard to get, you can still get that. But just
Right.
like the games and rides weren't open and stuff like that. But that's the update for that. In the hotel they normally stay at, they
Mhm.
said that the hotel's inner arcade would be closed, but they're not sure about the pool yet. They're
Okay.
waiting to hear more from the government and waiting to hear more from the actual city. So the thing about these COVID openings is that the governor's one thing, but then the
Right.
city can still have their own rules with within
Right.
the city
Yeah.
you live in and stuff like that. That's what's interesting, because even like Trenton, right? So the curfew has let up, but Trenton's still on the curfew
Right.
because like the city can
And
still
Trenton
so
curfew, but went to from 8 to 9, right? They gave them an extra hour,
then
right?
back to 8 because it was
Oh,
like three. There was like 3 shootings within, like, as soon as the curfew lifted, there
right.
was like 3 days of shootings, like right
Oh
after.
yeah,
So
I
it was
heard
just back
about
to
a lot
8.
of stuff, but I didn't know it. Wow.
Yeah, which is I don't think the hour difference correlates with the shootings,
Yeah, it
but
doesn't because my nephew friend was one of the people who actually got killed, and
oh
that
wow,
wasn't after hours. Like that wasn't
right.
late.
But I don't know. I guess the mayor feels better about moving it backwards. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
makes
I
sense.
think I think if it was 5 o'clock, they would still shoot each other anyway if that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They got no time zone on these shootings.
Right, that's what
Um,
I'm saying.
but let me ask you this: how did your family like? When? What did they stay for? One day? When
They
they
just
went to
went for
see
the
some?
day to talk to the hotel that they want to stay at in
Okay.
July. They said the beach, people were on the beach. They said the boardwalk wasn't as crowded as,
Right.
normally would be on Memorial Day, for
Right.
example. Um, and, they like the fact that they got out, walked the boardwalk on a nice day. They're not beach people, like I said, but if you were on the
Right.
beach, it would be nice to do. They felt still safe and comfortable because they could walk and be distant from
Right.
other
Yeah. Yeah.
people. and stuff. So for a day, like I said, they got the chance to get out, enjoy the sun and the beach, and get some nice
Right.
boardwalk food. So for
Now,
them, it was a nice day.
yeah,
So,
did they say if there was a lot of people wearing masks?
they said on the boardwalk themselves, people were wearing
Cool.
masks. Yeah,
Yeah. So
they
here's
were.
my thing with that is I'm a beach guy. Like my family and I, we love going to the beach. We love getting in the water. We love walking the boardwalk. And what I can say is in a regular, normal, unpandemic situation, like the beach is one of the places where when we're on our first of all, our blanket is huge, right? And we're never up on top of people. You know, when I go to the beaches, people I feel like you social distance by nature. Like no one wants to be at the beach all crowded up. And when you get in the water, I never recall touching somebody. Like the ocean is huge. Like me and my family always have our little area where we're playing. So, the boardwalk, yeah, there's some times where you go to Seaside and if it's packed, you walk in through the crowd. But I don't know. I think
I think the key is those games and rides because
yeah.
sometimes people crowd around the
Oh yeah, you're
games,
right.
either to wait their turn or to watch somebody winning.
You're right.
And then the rides, people wait for the rides and stuff like
You're right.
that. So I think the key is those particular things.
Yeah.
But without that, I don't. The thing is that people will not go as much because those things are not open. So by default, you'll have people distancing because
That's right.
people aren't going to go as
That's
much.
right. And you know what? By default, too, there's still people who want to ride and wait this thing out, kind of like some people I know. So they're gonna stay in the house regardless, Like
Right.
and so other people like myself who are like they open stuff up, I'm going. And
Right.
and so I feel like it's a good situation in the fact it's like let the test dummies like me go out there and see what happens. I got a bunch of friends who I do another podcast with, the Mighty Jade Empire podcast, and all of them are like you, kind of like my one friend lives in Atlanta, and he's like, oh, they open stuff up and there's so many new cases. I'm like, but where's you guys are just saying that, but the mayor of Atlanta came out and said it wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. And when I'm talking to them, it's super doom and gloom. Everything is like, yo, man, how could people want to do this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
but
the one where you guys had the emotional podcast, I
right.
was like listening, and even the beginning of it, he was reading all these numbers, and I was like, bro, this is kind of depressing a little bit. When I was
It's
like,
real depressing. Like,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
man. I get it, but at the same time, it's like I feel like it's cool, right? Like you said something real important the other day. You're like, listen, if you want to go, you go, but I'm gonna stay in the house if I want to stay in the house. So it is to each his own. But we do understand that someone like me who want to go out could give it to someone else, right? So we get that.
yeah.
We get that. We're not taking that away. But I feel like as cases are going down, and they are, then the people who want to venture out, let them venture out to be the test dummies, quote so to speak.
Plus,
And
those people, and I agree because those people you're talking about could be having some mental issues by being stuck in,
yeah, man.
and they need that stuff. And I'm actually within a month or so, I'll probably be venturing out too. I mean,
Right.
me and my friend was talking about going to maybe a batting cage where like
Hmm.
I can go up to bat, he can be 6 feet away from me, and
Right.
then he can go up to bat. So we're really not never next to each other, at any particular time. So
Yeah.
there's things you can do where you can still social distance and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
So
agree, man.
and like I said, it maybe should have been this the whole time. When I go back and think about it, because we all are adults. You give people the information and you say, "Here's what's going on. If
Right.
you want to go out, go out. If you don't, don't." That's what it really should have kind of been at
Right.
the end of the day.
Well, I get that we had to enforce things because there's people who don't care, right? So there's people who have a level uh of lack of fear and lack of caring. So it's two things. And they're just gonna be like, I don't care. If you just give me the choice, I'm gonna be out there doing whatever and I'm gonna go see whoever. So there's conscious people like me. I don't see that many people. I mean, I don't go out that much, but if I was able to go out that much, like for instance, my mom, I haven't seen my mom. Now, I've seen my wife's mom, but I haven't seen my mom because we haven't interacted with her on a regular basis. So we don't allow her to be in our like chain of people we see. But
Right.
we've gone and seen my wife's mom. She lives almost 2 hours away. But every so often, like we've seen her on her birthday, March 1st, and Mother's
Yeah,
Day,
yeah. All the
But
videos on Now Your Mama Knows too, by the way.
yeah, thank you, thank you. But we're very conscious of who we see and who we don't see. But there's some people that are just like, I don't care. So I guess
Well,
enforcing it, you know.
Yeah, like this week, there's a guy. I don't actually know in particular, but he apparently he just got it. But before that, he was one of the people who just didn't care,
Okay.
right? And he was I think he lives in Trenton, but he was a guy like walking around like I'm not wearing the mask. He would be like in crowds of people like shooting dice and Trenton and stuff like
Okay.
that. And he just was very, very lax everywhere, posting everywhere. Now he's in the hospital asking for prayers, stuff like that.
Wow.
So those people I don't empathize for because you
Right.
did not care before. So
Right.
now don't, start caring now. Because I guess is the best way to
Yeah.
put it.
What you like to say, same, keep the same energy, right?
Keep that same energy that you
Yeah.
had before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot. I hate to say it. And this would have been like, I wish it could have been like, listen, you can go do whatever you want,
Mhm.
but if you get it, don't ask for a ventilator. That's how much it could
Yeah,
have
we
been me.
we wouldn't have been able to do that. This we would have been the United States has been talked about very heavily throughout the
I
world.
know. But that's the reason why they closed too, because of liability situations like
Yeah,
that. Like, a movie theater couldn't have stayed open because of
right.
somebody get it. It would have been somebody, not you, but somebody would have tried to sue
Yeah.
the theater and say
Oh
y'all
yeah.
shouldn't have opened and whatnot and
Yeah.
stuff like
And knowingly they was able to go. But I think what's cool is and maybe this is why they do that. When John, another a guy on the New U Radio, so let's give a shout out to New U Radio.
that.
You guys got to check out New U Radio as well.
Yes.
And the link will be below. But John said he went to Atlanta and they made him read a little script.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's one of those things. You're gonna go to the movies, you're gonna go somewhere, and they make you read this script. And so if you read it, you willingly wanted to go inside and said, "I'm good, I'm fine," and whatever happens after that is kind of on you. And I feel like that's fair. Don't be the person that's like, "Oh, I want to go." Like, let's say movies. I want to go to the movies. They let you in, you get it, and then you're trying to sue the movies. Like, you could have stayed at home. Like,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I would attest to. But it's good either way. People who do need to get out. I'm happy that certain things are opening for them, and I'm happy that barbecues are 25 or less, and it's right
Right.
on time because you got like graduations happening. People can have little graduations, family barbecues now.
Well,
Um,
here's what's really cool. My cousin was supposed to get married May 16th. And so she was holding on tight, and then she had to send out her email and text me and said we can't do it. So a week ago, she texted me and said, "Hey, we're going to do it June 4th, something in June, right?" And I said, she said, I said, "How are you going to do that? Got the whole 10 people thing." She's like, "Well, we're only going to do like 30." I was like, 30 is more than 10. She's like, I just really want to get married. I said, "Listen, I don't know if you're gonna get away with it." She was like, "Well, we're gonna do it at my boyfriend's parents' house." I was like, "Either way, you're still at somebody's house." I was like, "I mean, I'll come, but who knows what's gonna happen?" Well, now a week later, they open it up to 25. So if she, tweak it a little bit, she could have a wedding outside and no problems.
no problems. Yeah,
So that's
especially if it's
for
25.
people like that, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I was saying about that dude with the. We'll move on to the guy with the gym who
Yeah,
opened up and stuff like that. Segway King here. Moving on to him and how I wish, not I wish, I don't know him personally, but he
right.
probably could have held off just a little bit more time and
Yeah.
stuff. And
So so guys, if you didn't see last week's episode, we actually talked about this guy in Belmar, New Jersey. Not the Belmar by the beach, but the Belmar, it's two Belmars. Anyway, Belmar with a W in it. And
right,
he said he wrote a letter, put a video out there too, and spoke to the government and said, "I am opening. I have a lot of things set in place in order to open my gym. We're hurting for money. If we don't open, we're going to go under. So we're going to open regardless. I'm putting you on notice, Governor Murphy, I'm opening." So we talked about, like, I wonder what's going to happen because we did our show on Sunday and he was opening the next day on Monday. And
yes,
so
yes.
fill them in with what happened.
Well, the first day the police showed up as we expected. What happened. I think he got a fine, but
Yeah,
the people they were kind of like polite to the first day and said, we're just going to leave at this particular time, and didn't arrest anybody or anything like that. And they all celebrated. If you watch the video, like they were
yeah.
like they thought they won, I guess, in that particular
Mhm.
situation. Um, the next day, the following day, they showed back up again, and things kind of escalated now. So
And
now, go
just
ahead.
to jump in there, in the crowd, there was a lot of people without masks on.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah,
You saw that. Yeah. And I felt like the first day they were doing the people and the guy a favor, like the police, in my
right.
opinion. Like, all right, we just going to let y'all know you should not be doing this. It's a government state order.
Hmm.
But we're not going to arrest anybody, make things whatever, blah 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 blah. And it's just off topic. You know, that people were upset because the cops weren't like brutalizing them because they weren't like a black crowd. But
Right.
but me and I'm like, well, maybe they're saying, okay, now we're going to do things differently because we were arresting people at first sight before without masks on, so we're going to
Right.
change up a little bit. So I wasn't really upset about that.
Yeah, you
Me
know what
personally.
too? I'm about progression. So I feel
Yeah.
like if you were mad at how they treated a black crowd, right? Your response was upset, period, because they treated people. And I get some people was mad because the crowd was black, but you would want them to stop doing that, period, right? So don't get mad that they did do this to this people. There was a backlash. So hey, you guys shouldn't be doing that, period. So now they're going forward, they're not going to do that. Now you could make the argument if it happens after the fact and it's another black crowd, then they act differently.
Yes.
But I feel like it's progression. Now they're not going to handle it the way they did. So let's just be happy that together as unity, the things are calming down. That's the way
I
I like
agree
to
with
look at
you.
it.
Because why would you want them to brutalize another crowd? Because I would
Right.
rather
That's
say
just
let's see it not being done to other people.
yeah,
No matter what color they are. In my
yeah,
opinion. But nevertheless, the next day they came back and there were some arrests made, and I think he got another fine the following day, pretty much. But in the meantime, his GoFundMe page had been raising money, and the last time I checked, total was like $25,000 that he
right,
raised, which was probably more than the memberships for 1 month. I would
right,
assume. You know what I mean?
right,
So he did pretty good. And then I think by the third or fourth day, they shut him down completely. The gym, overall is what happened. But then by like Friday, which was the same week, Murphy said within 2 weeks,
right.
gyms and salons will likely be open as well. So it's I don't know if it's like a learning lesson or whatever you want to call it, but
Right.
there's a lot of layers to this thing.
Yeah,
Go ahead, you can jump
definitely.
right in.
Here's what's funny is that I remember always working out in the gym back in the day. And it's like the gym was just gritty. Like you just, you sweating, you got on the machine, you got off, you didn't wipe it down. Then Planet Fitness came out and it made a huge big deal. Like you got to wipe down every machine after you get on. And at first I was like, what? Sometimes I get on, I'm not even sweating, but your body still was on it. So that used to
Yeah,
bother me. Like, really? I got to wipe it off? I'm not even sweating yet. But on Planet
yeah,
Fitness made a big deal. So if a lot of gyms just follow what Planet Fitness was already put in place, which some people
yeah,
laugh at Planet Fitness because they feel like they're not a gym, like they're not like you can't yell, you can't be grunting and stuff like that. But if you look at the trends, they said they're more like the modish supposed to be for everybody gym. And
Well, I didn't like them because they didn't have free weights for a while in the
right.
beginning. I don't know if you remember that. You remember
Yeah.
that. So if you're like a real weight person, that didn't really help as much. And then they used to have this thing they put on there. I joined them back in the day. They were so cheap. Remember when they first
Right.
came out? They were like
They're
10 bucks
still
a
cheap.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was no judgment zone. That was
Yeah.
their so they
Yep.
didn't have scales in there at all. They don't have
Hmm.
scales in the whole building.
Right.
And I'm just like,
What?
bro,
Uh,
I'm just like, I get you're promoting, I guess, less bullying or judgment, but I want to know my weight loss progress. So you didn't have a scale in here. I just feel like that
Right.
was a
Well, here's the
thing for
thing.
me.
I will clear this up. So I've been a member at least more than 3 years, maybe 4 years now. So the cool thing is they do have scales. They have a scale in the locker room. So in the locker room and bathroom. So there's a scale. They have free weights. So I don't know. I mean, Planet Fitness has been open for what, maybe
15 years.
something like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I didn't
Yeah,
go in the
I was going
beginning.
probably between like '05 and 2010. So
Okay,
they
yeah,
probably,
because
yeah, I'm sure over time people complain like I did about
yeah, yeah,
things
definitely,
differently.
yeah. So it's the cool thing is they did add all that stuff, but I give them credit that they were the clean gym and they again they wanted that whole judgment free zone, but they was very clean and they was very like you know you couldn't be screaming. That was part of the judgment because big guys just throw down they
Yeah.
like I remember going to
Yep.
Bally's and it was just
Yep.
like
Yep.
or
Yep.
I went to
Yep.
Giant Fitness was like Felt like it was a hole in the wall. It was like a high
Yeah.
school gym, like,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely against that. But to back on point, on topic is that a lot of gyms are now probably going to have the little stations like Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness, you can't go but so far without a station with sprays and paper towels
Yeah,
everywhere in the whole
they'll
gym.
probably have more, which I think would be good because my gym, a couple gyms I've been to have had it, but you had to like get off the machine,
Right,
walk over to some wall, like,
right,
you know,
yeah,
and then which was probably like, I don't know, I would say like 30 feet or whatever, and then get
right,
the wipe and come back to the machine.
right,
And like
yeah,
you
and
said, once you're done with the machine, you don't feel like doing all that
right,
and
yeah.
whatnot. Like,
And
so
I'm sorry, I give Planet Fitness credit because they have these little stations like everywhere. Like
yeah,
there's always station within maybe 10, 15 feet from a machine, you know, sometimes
yeah,
closer depending on where the machine is. So
yeah. So it gives you no reason not to do it because it's right
right.
there and whatnot.
Yeah, because
I
you look
think they
funny
might.
when I would get off a machine. If I wasn't gonna wipe it, you look funny because it's like, dude, the thing is right there. Like I know you ain't
Right.
about to just walk away from the machine and not clean it. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah. I think what they might incorporate most of the gyms is something literally like attached to or maybe at every station
right.
where you can literally just pull it off and walk. I
And
mean, put it off and wipe it right there.
And remember the guy from Belmar in the beginning, he said what he did was he actually moved equipment. So he
Yes.
spaced out equipment as well. So that's because when you think of the square footage of some of these buildings, they have more space if they wanted to move stuff a little bit, you know. Like I know Planet
Yeah.
Fitness, when you walk in, there's a big like dining area where you could sit down and eat if you wanted to. And nobody's ever really sitting there eating because they had like a pizza Tuesdays and all this stuff. So now I feel like if
Yeah.
they wanted to, they could move those tables out the way and pull the machines back and give some people more space. So
Yeah. Also, if you're gonna lower the capacity for the
mhm,
gym at all times, you could probably move stuff out because
right,
you don't I mean, most gyms, my gym in particular, there's maybe 50, 30, 40 treadmills
right,
or whatever. Now maybe at like 5 to 6 o'clock, it's all packed, but
right.
any other time it's not.
Yeah,
So if you lower the capacity at all times, then you won't need all those treadmills. You can space
yeah.
it out more,
Yeah,
stuff like
and
that.
that's what
I
the
got
guy from Belmar said also. He was just gonna his first day, he said he was only letting 50 people in at a time. And then he was gonna, you know, when someone leave, then someone else could come in. So yeah.
right. But so what do you think about what happened the entire week with that guy in Belmar? Like, what do you think
Um
about?
it's like we said, everything happened, we pretty much predicted. Like the state, if they allow you to do it, then everybody's gonna be doing it, you know, and they
Right.
can't bend the rules because everybody's gonna do it. It's gonna get out of hand. So but I think people when they do the GoFundMe, I'm like, man, talk about a come up, you know?
Yeah.
He was just
Yeah.
try to get some money. Now he got more money. So um I guess it is what it is. If you start something or even people start it for you, you can't say like, hey, I reached my goal, stop. People could still give. So, you
Yeah.
know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
And I remember you also said that if you were a member, you wouldn't be there the first week because of what happened to people getting arrested and whatnot.
right, yeah, because I feel like I'm used to working out at home as well. So I've been slacking. So like I got a gym membership, but I probably didn't go to the gym for like 3 months before this pandemic even happened. Like I just been working
Right.
out at home because I got little stuff at home to do. So for me, I even know I'm the person that I go to anything that's open up, but within reason. Like I'm a movie fan, so I'll go to the movies. I'll go to out to eat dinner, but I'm not rushing to the gym because I feel like I'm just not that into I have to go to the gym. So I would have been the person to sit back and be like, even if I was a member, let me see what happens first, you know. But I also feel like people who got arrested was probably being rowdy. So let's be fair. I'm not sure nobody went there just standing there in line and got arrested for no reason. Like, you know, people
I'm sure. I wouldn't go like even the movies, right? I
okay,
wouldn't go if the movies have, let's say if Regal just said I'm open anyway. I'm
right,
not going. But if it's open, that's something different and whatnot.
right.
So like I wouldn't
Oh, I
go
see
if
what you're saying. If Regal
right.
said they was breaking the rules, yeah, yeah. So I'm not doing that either. I agree. Yeah, I'm. So yeah, sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm only going to something that's open legally. Yeah,
Right.
I'm a big fan of, or not fan, but I like to do things within reason, and it's important to me for something to be legal. So I make that clear. So yeah, I love
Right.
the movies, but if Regal just said, "Look, we're gonna, you know, send me an email and said, hey, listen, we're gonna let a couple people come in. Don't say nothing. No, you're not getting me. Yeah, no, I don't want to be a part
Right.
of that. Yeah.
Right. So you would have been one of those people outside that gym. Exactly. Same
Yeah,
situation.
I would not have been there.
Yeah. But like I said, in a few weeks people can go and gyms, and I will say this, gyms, you've had plenty of time to set your place up, make it
Yep.
sanitary. So, when it's ready to open, because I seen this one car dealership, also this off topic, but he said the government allowed car sales now
Right.
and stuff like that. And he was like, man, I'm not ready. He only gave me one day advance notice and whatnot. I got to do this, that, and the third. I'm like, bro, you should have been trying to get ready the whole time.
Yeah.
What was you?
Uh, um, a really good friend of mine who was actually in my wedding. He works for the Volkswagen dealership on Street Road, and they had shut down at first, and so he actually got laid off, or furloughed, whatever you want to call it. But then they did call him back, and so he did go back, and he said, they're back in the swing of things. Not everybody came back, but the essential people that he's part of the people who like worked in he's a finance manager, so they brought some
Nice.
people back to actually keep the business afloat.
Yeah, which is cool. Now, let's move on to some. Of course, we're not move on, but say on things that are open. And one
Right.
thing that is open, is speaking of movies, is a
Yes, sir.
drive-in movie theater
Yes,
and stuff
sir.
like that. So, Anthony, let's tell the people, because you did go last night,
Yes, sir.
and let's talk to you about your experience with the newly opened drive-in theater.
Okay, cool. So Delcia Drive-In is the only drive-in in New Jersey, and I've been going there for I want to say in 2009. I probably was the first time when I discovered that place, and we've been going ever since. And we like it a lot. We usually go a couple times a year, maybe 2, 3 times a year. It's just like an event for us to go with the kids, and so what they did was they changed a couple things. One, you can't just show up. So you have to order tickets online now, and when it sells out, it's sold out. So that stopped it from being like too crowded. Two, they have two screens, and on one screen they show 2 movies, the other screen they show 2 different movies. Right? Usually they got stuff for kids, and then they got stuff for adults. Like if it's horror, it'd be over there. A war movie, love story, kid stuff over here. So what they did was the one screen could hold 300 cars. They put it down to 200 cars. The other screen could hold 200 cars. They put it down to 100 cars. So they limited people from coming in. They made it where you have to order online. And then what they did was cool was you usually could just go into the concession area and just buy your food. What they did was you had to order it online from the website, and then they text message you and told you when your food will be done. And then when your food is ready, you'll get a text and say, hey, come pick up your food. So there was never a moment where we interacted with anybody besides when the person opened the door and handed me my food, and I grabbed my food and walked to the car. So talk about safe. If you want to see a movie, it's really, really safe.
Did that
However,
person have a mask on? The one who gave you the food?
yeah. Everybody had a mask on. People standing in line had masks on. If you were standing in line, and I made the video. The video was came out right before this showing, so
Oh,
you
so I
guys
don't know
could have.
about it. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
So yeah, you wouldn't have had time to watch it. But yeah, I showed people standing there, everybody 6 feet apart. It was really cool, man. It was like if you wanted to go to the movies, see a movie, get to eat food, it was a good experience. We liked it. Um, I know Josh commented and he asked me how was the screens, and he asked me how was the sound. So I want to add this for some people. Josh Warren is another one of our friends that he's on the podcast with Mike in a New You Radio and Mental Theater, and you guys see it. It'll be in the link below. He wanted to know how good was the screen. So I've been going there forever. The screens are decent. As long as it gets really dark, the screens are pretty good. One scene, because I didn't want to show the screen too much, but I turn when I'm going to pick up my food, and from a distance, I'm yards away in the distance, you could clearly see Sonic from that far away. So just to give you an idea of how clear the screens are. The screens are okay. And then he asked me about the sound. The sound comes through your radio. So you turn to 90.5 when you're in that area. 90.5 is playing the sound. And if a Who car doesn't sound good. So I mean, if obviously it's coming through your sound. So it's clear, it's loud as you turn it. If you want it to sound like you're in, stereo speakers and you can't hear, you just turn your radio up super loud. At one point I had the radio up too loud. I was like, this is kind of loud. What was cool was we brought chairs. So the kids at some point in time was actually sitting in the chairs outside. And it was cool. And the cars have so much space between each other, so you don't have to worry about being too close to somebody. It was perfect experience to go see a movie.
So they sat in the chairs outside, but still heard it through your car because you had the windows down,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Had the windows down. The first movie, two movies they had was Sonic, and they had Jumanji Next Level. And Bobby sat outside when we watched Sonic, and when we watched Jumanji, Michaela was sitting outside. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was cool.
That's pretty cool. And are we gonna get a review of Jumanji since that was your first time seeing it?
No, because I dozed off a little bit on Jumanji. So I did,
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to be fair. I did doze off a little bit. So
Okay.
I'm notorious for every so often, if I watch a certain movie, not saying the movie was bad, I never put it on the movie, but you know, I try to go to sleep kind of early the night before because I didn't want that to happen. And Jumanji, from what I seen, was okay. It was a couple things I wasn't so into, like they were trying to do accents, because remember the characters in Jumanji are a avatar or a video game
Right.
character, but whoever is playing that character is their voice. So you had
Right.
The Rock and
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart trying
Yeah.
to act out, you know, it was poor. That part was kind of poor. It was like the acting. I was into it, but I wasn't that into it. And the moments where I did get kind of tired because I was up a little late the night before, I ended up falling asleep, and I woke up and I told myself I can't give a review because I didn't fully see all of it. So,
Did you see the first Jumanji with The
I
Rock and
did.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you like that
And
one?
my wife and everybody thought the first one was better.
Uh-huh.
This one, I get what they was trying to do. I just didn't think they executed it well. They tried to switch it up a little bit,
Right.
but I don't think they executed it well. So
Okay. That's curious. And of course, you already saw Sonic, and it's already reviewed on Now Your Mama Knows.
yes,
So.
sir. And I actually put that in the video to let everybody know I did review it, and the review will be below. And
Nice.
Sonic. So here's the funny thing: when I did a review of Sonic, a few people, and even you, kind of got on me because I said the story was just silly, right? So people was like, "It's a hedgehog. Like, what do you want it to be from a video game?" So,
Right.
but I did make it clear that I liked the movie and I enjoyed it just as much the second time. Like, that movie is that might be the best video game movie, my
I think
favorite
so.
video game movie. Like
Mine definitely is. Yeah.
his personality was so good. Like you just liked Sonic and wanted to see more of him. Like I
Yes.
want to see him more. Whoever played him, who played him, you know, did
I
Sonic's
don't know who
voice.
played the actual Sonic. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he
that's right.
was,
Yeah,
man, just entertaining, like his personality, his
yeah.
little memes when he get, yeah,
The bar scene was so good to me. Like that was one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie.
I
Actually.
agree.
Yeah, definitely. Um, moving on forward.
Uh-huh.
So we talked about that.
Well, here,
Oh
didn't
yeah, I
you?
got you. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, we got the drive-in theaters. Oh, so let's talk about your new prediction
No, no,
because
no,
you
no,
were
no.
wrong
We
on the
can't
last
go there yet.
prediction.
We gotta
Okay.
back up.
All
Remember,
right.
you and some people had feeling some type of way about the food at the drive-in, because I did state that when you come, they check your car, so they don't allow you to bring food. And so a bunch of people, and you guys was talking on New You Radio, and
Yes.
the one guy was like, "Well, you can't bring it to regular theater," but you guys like, "I don't know, man. It kind of doesn't make sense." So let's you want to talk about that, right? That
Well, yeah. So I mean, to us, I mean, not knowing or experienced it, you would
right.
think good part of the drive-in theater would be
Mhm.
that I can just have a car full of snacks or whatever
Right.
like that. So when you told me initially that
Right.
they actually check your car, and then they told Josh, we were like, that's kind of
Right.
unique and stuff like that in that particular aspect.
I don't
Um,
think unique was the word. I think I
well,
think you
crazy,
got,
whatever you want to
yeah,
say.
you guys was definitely derogatory towards that. Yeah, definitely didn't like
Well,
that.
I think part of it, this all the things about pandemic. I think this is more about if it even wasn't a pandemic.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, I agree.
I think the idea was of someone searching your car. I think
Right.
there's a little off putting and stuff like that when it comes to for that situation,
Right.
to be in place. I get it though, because they're charging you so cheap, so their money comes from
Hmm.
the food and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Which is the same thing for theaters for the most part, because they only make like $2 a movie, even in regular movies and stuff
Right.
like that. But so I definitely get it, but it's just it's just a little surprising. You know,
So
but hold on. But then when you told us on Mental Theater
right,
that the food selection, that kind of
yeah,
intrigued me though, because you don't
yeah.
get that same selection
Mm-mm,
at an actual theater. But
mm-mm.
go ahead. What are you gonna say?
So what I was gonna say is my counterpoint to that is anyone who went to the movie theater and couldn't walk in with a bag of McDonald's, then I feel like you shouldn't say the same thing. Well, it's still a movie theater, and why are you okay with not being able to take whatever you want food to a regular movie theater, but it bothers you that you can't to the drive-in? That doesn't make sense. Now I understand somebody's point could be the person like, I don't want nobody searching my car, which last night they didn't. They just simply asked you because I get, the COVID, so they're not going to be looking all through your stuff. But in the past, they did make you open your trunk. Like, hey, can we just see your trunk? And they asked you, do you have any food with you? But what they did do, which I may not have told you, but I did write in the comments, they added, they have a $20 food pass. So if you want to pay $20, you could bring whatever you want. So if you wanted to go to McDonald's or the dollar store and buy a bunch of snacks, and when you got there they say, hey, did you have any food, you could say, hey, I'm paying $20 for my food snack and to bring my own food. So you could do that. You couldn't do that in the past, but I guess because right now they're allowing you to, or maybe that's something new they're going to go forward.
That's
But
actually
yeah,
pretty dope, actually.
yeah, that's I feel like, dude, that's like so me and my daughter, we and you wait till you see the food. Like, dude, they have something I've never seen before. They have funnel cake fries. I was like, what? So my
I've
daughter
seen
got
that.
funnel cake fries. I don't like funnel cake, but I thought that was
Yeah.
cool because I feel like funnel cakes are real greasy. So just a fry is like, oh, okay, got the salt, got the
Yeah.
sugar on it. I could do a
Yeah.
fry. But yeah, I feel like again, like you stated, they make money, a lot of money off of their food. So I feel like you're definitely supporting the movie theater and especially the drive-ins, because drive-ins are extinct when you think about it, almost extinct. There's literally just one in New Jersey. So think about that.
Right.
So I feel like we are gonna spend money to buy their food. But I feel like, yeah, if you go to the regular theater and don't have a problem, you shouldn't have a problem here because it's literally the same thing, you know. Um,
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I know people who sneak stuff in, and I've snuck stuff. I
right.
mean, you snuck stuff in
Yeah,
yourself and
yeah,
stuff like that.
definitely.
But I don't think I've ever not spent anything. Like even if I snuck like some chips in or
Right.
something like that, I probably still bought a drink. Because it's a drink.
Yeah.
And I want an icy drink, so it's different. But with a nice selection, because part of the sneaking stuff into the movie theater is the selection is trash most of the
Right.
time. So with a bigger selection, I'm less likely because I would rather have a fresh something, you
Right.
know, there than buy it and bring it in, to be quite
Yeah.
honest with you. So
And
that's pretty
my
dope.
part, to add on to your part, for sneaking stuff in, allegedly, whenever it happened,
Allegedly.
it wasn't the selection for us, it was the price. It was like, dude, I could buy the same thing from the dollar store. So it's like we could, because if I go to the theater and spend $4 on Raisinets, but I could go to the dollar store and rack up with $4 and each kid have something, it made more sense. But the cool thing with the drive-in, the selection is so different. And the price. So to go to you and to me, the selection is different and the price is reasonable. So when we go, we're like, yo, get whatever you want.
So how many of you was it last night? Five?
It was five of us. Yeah.
How much did you spend on
Um,
concessions? Do you know?
so we kind of separated. So I bought the I bought uh, um I bought a root beer float and macaroni and cheese. And my daughter got the funnel cake fries and a milkshake. And our
Okay.
stuff together was $19.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. All
So
that.
and mind you, I said macaroni and cheese and a
Funnel cake
shake.
fries.
You'll see it in the
Yeah.
video.
How
I
much was
think
the? I mean, how the mac and cheese taste?
the mac and cheese was decent. I won't say it was
Oh,
great. Yeah, it
all
wasn't
right.
great. Yeah, it was decent. It wasn't great though. I will say that.
All right.
And then the only issue they did have, so here I will, because I don't want to just make it like glorify it. I think over time, because they opened on Friday, so mind you, it was Friday, Saturday, we went on Sunday, so they had 3 days. But what I think they need to get together is when you first bought your stuff online, sitting in the car on my phone, bought online, it gave me a time, said your stuff would be ready at 9:40, right? So I think what they should do is just give you like an estimate, because what happened was at 9:40, my phone vibrated and it said you could come pick up your stuff. And then my wife's stuff, she ordered right after me, and they text her and said she could pick up her stuff before me. So when I'm like, why is she getting hers before me? And I ordered before her, right? So you get in line, and it took them, my wife was there for half an hour. So they need to figure out, maybe don't send these let people like, hey, your thing's gonna be done at
Yeah.
this time. Like, because they
Yeah.
like, when you stand outside and you can look through the glass and see them back there, you could see them reading papers. Like, they was very confused. Like, they didn't have it together. So I think it's different from when you standing in line and they make your stuff right there, and then you stand to the side and they give you your stuff, right? But when you
Yeah.
order online, you got to think how many people are ordering line at the same time, right? Could be right around the same
Yeah.
time. And I feel like they give you a placeholder time, and then they made you come at that time. But I feel like you shouldn't do that. Just give somebody, to be like, your stuff is ready in 5 minutes, and know it's going to be ready in 5 minutes. So it was a lot of confusion. You could see the people was coming out, like, they called people names, a person like, that's me. And they was like, oh, sorry, we don't have it yet. And the people like, okay, everybody was real understanding. But yeah, my wife was out there for half an hour because she got called before me, like 10 minutes before me. I came out 10 minutes after her, and then my food was ready before her, and she was called before me, but I ordered before her anyway. It was, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
So but can you see the movie from the concession stand when you waiting that long?
You could still see it, but you can't hear it.
Ah.
Yeah. So unless somebody had their car window down, you could vaguely hear it in the distance. But yeah, so you were
Yeah.
missing some of the movie. Like, my daughter never seen Sonic, but me, my wife, and her son did. So when we went, my daughter came just to stand in line with me, and my wife was like, yo, go back and sit in the car. She's like, oh, I'm just waiting. She was like, you didn't see the movie. And I don't like to waste my money. So like, she don't got a job. I'm like, you better go sit in the car and watch that movie. I already seen it. So
Right.
and I paid for it. So if I doze off on your money, oh well. But no, you're gonna watch that movie. But yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm happy that you got a chance to get out and do it. Now, is it what I don't know? Is it only weekends for these drive-ins, or is it like?
It's Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so they open up on Thursdays. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So, would you go back again
Yeah.
to see an older?
So what they said over when when the intermission came, when one movie ended, the guy said over the radio that he apologized for having older movies, but he is working on trying to get some newer movies. But he said obviously right now no theaters is doing newer movies, but he said we're trying to work out deals right now to get some newer movies. So they're trying to pull something off. So they did let people know, because a lot of misconception is people think drive-ins play old movies, but they don't. Like, at least the one in New Jersey, they don't. They, like, if a movie come out in the movies, they'll have it in the movies, which is cool.
Yeah. I don't know how you're gonna pull that off though, because I don't know how
Right, I
that's
know.
gonna be
That's why when he was saying it, I'm like, dude, nobody's getting movies. So I doubt you guys are getting movies. You're only one movie there. They're like, come on.
right.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
thinking that too. Because if I'm a movie studio, I want my movie in multiple theaters, not just one drive-in. That's
right.
not really helping me that much.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather save it and stuff like that. All right. Well, moving forward, since we talked about the food that you want to talk about, let's talk about your new prediction and stuff like that.
Okay. So my new prediction came because you said we were talking about cruises, and you was like, dude, I'm not getting on a cruise for, did you say a year? What did you say? You said you're not getting on a cruise for a very long time.
No. So it was because you were talking about cruises on your Sandy and Anthony show, and I commented, which I watch. Shouts out to Sandy and Anthony show, and I don't know if you took it wrong way, but what I was saying was that I don't think cruises will be available for at least another year and a half.
Yeah, that's what you said. So what I said was my prediction, and I think it's well within reason if you read everything I said, which I feel like you can't get on me this time, because I think it makes sense. My prediction was when there are 0 cases, right? There's no infections, there's no deaths because of COVID. 6 months after that, so meaning we're gonna go 6 months with 0 cases, I feel like everything is gonna open back up. I feel like, yeah, there are people that are afraid, but if you go, like I was talking to the friends of mine who do the other podcast, they was like 6 months. They're like, man, listen, all I need is a month to go by with 0 cases. I'm back out.
Yeah. I agree with that. I thought you were saying 6 months from today there will be 0 cases.
No, that's why I said I got a feeling. That's why I screenshotted it and sent it to you. I said just make sure you read everything I said, because I feel like that makes sense. 6 months later, because you were saying it's gonna take a while, and I get it. But if we got 6 months with 0 cases, dude, everybody's like, businesses want to make money, and if they could, dude, we have a case.
I agree with that. I
Yeah,
think we're saying the same thing then, because I'm saying
yeah, we
I don't
agree.
think we'll
Yeah.
get to that. I don't think we'll get to that by a year and a half. That's my
Okay,
point
yeah, that
with zero
maybe not. I
cases.
don't know. That I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, that's my
But you
point.
don't think let me throw this out there.
And you know what's crazy? No, no, not to cut things else, but your homeland, Jamaica,
Right.
got down to zero cases after 50 days, and
Well,
they got
here's
down
the
to zero
thing.
cases.
I don't know if you've seen it, if you paid attention, but on the like 2 weeks ago on the Sandy Anthony show, I have an aunt I have family who still live in Jamaica. And my
Right.
aunt, she comes on almost every show. She said they had like only 250 cases like 2 weeks ago. So like 2 weeks ago, she was like, yeah, she's like, we're already business is already back. She was like,
Yeah.
they never fully shut down in Jamaica.
Now they're down to zero. Last thing I read about Jamaica, so which
Yeah.
is good for them.
So yeah, they was
So,
pretty, their cases was really low. But
gotcha. In
remember,
the
they're a
first
small
place,
island, like when you think about compared to,
United
the
States.
United
Yeah,
States, but
yeah, yeah.
because a lot of people would say like, oh my God, look at the case in New York. Like, first of all, let's look at the demographics of New York. I don't even want to drive in New York because so many people. You drive like this inch because 100 people walk across it in front of you. So just imagine, it makes sense. New York's so massive and people on top of people for their cases to be so
Just
high.
watch any movie where they show like Times Square. When it's like
Yeah,
a street
like
light. And it's like a thousand people at one street, like waiting across the street. Like
yeah, it's
it's
like
crazy. Like
ants, So
yeah,
it's like people are so unfair when they're like, "Oh my God, look at New York!" Like, dude, if New York had the lowest cases, then this whole thing is fake. Like they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It doesn't.
yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. They're literally on
yeah,
top of each other in New York. So yeah, I
yeah,
definitely get that. Remember in Home Alone when they were standing at the street light and then Kevin pinched her butt and she thought it was a bar behind her or something like that at Home
yeah.
Alone
And then
2.
think, how
Lost
many
again.
people in New York don't own vehicles? They catch the subway. They, like that's their, a major form of transportation, which you can't help but having so many people on top of people.
You know what it is too. I think if you're some people who don't live in the tri-state area, New York sometimes gets more glorified. They show more like Wall Street, Times Square,
Right,
downtown. They don't realize the small Brooklyn and Bronx, with areas where there's like apartments with 10 people in them, and
right,
all these
right.
little
The high
things that you don't.
rises, yeah,
Yeah, the high rises, Staten Island, which the island is very condensed. They don't realize that because New York sometimes gets more glorified than
right,
what you actually
right.
see.
Manhattan,
Manhattan, yeah, pretty
yeah,
much, yeah, 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 stuff like that. Yeah, New York will be a while, but your prediction does make sense now that I hear it
yeah,
and
yeah,
understand it now. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought,
I think we're on.
but
I
I'm
think
with your friends though. If I hear zero cases within like 2 weeks, I'll probably
right,
be out. So
right.
that's
Yeah, I
that
mean,
that's a difference for
yeah.
me. So yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think also, so to your point, you said it's probably going to take a year and a half for it to be um zero cases.
I don't think we'll ever get down to zero cases. I think this will be like a new
No,
strand of the flu. But here's what I think. I think it's going to be like a vaccine to where
right.
there'll be less deaths than what there are right now.
I
I
don't.
think. Well, let me finish. So I think
Mhm.
that a vaccine that'll help, with the antibodies and stuff like that, kind of like the flu shot, right?
Right,
I think it'll initially take that down, which will ultimately take the fear down. Because remember when the Spanish flu in 1918,
right, right,
there was whatever 60 million deaths, but eventually, right? That took 3 years before they started getting down to less and less cases and deaths
right.
and stuff like that. But there's still a flu, right? So I think there's still going to be a
A
COVID
quote.
19,
Gotcha.
but I don't think there'll be so many less deaths, and the deaths probably would more be targeted mostly on somebody who was very elderly, who was on the brink of death anyway,
Right, right. The
more
underlying
than somebody.
conditions.
Not even that. No. I think if it was somebody 35 with high blood pressure, they'll be fine. I think
Okay.
more like it'll more target the person
Oh,
who was like,
right. I
right,
got
you know
you.
what I'm saying?
You were
Like
kind of
like
on your way out anyway.
yeah, that type of
Right,
person who was already on let's say dialysis,
right.
for kidneys,
A
or has some
ventilator.
sort of, really are already on oxygen or breathing
Right,
machines, or had lung cancer. So I mean, something like that. What I think underlying conditions like the stuff they talk about now, those are regular things. People should be able to
yeah,
walk around with that without having issues. So I think that'll be
right.
fine. So,
Yeah, I see that. I don't know if I agree with there'll never be zero. I hope it'll get to a point where this thing goes to zero and then maybe years later a new COVID 20 comes up. But I would like to I would like to think and like to hope that this will. I think this was just a strange mutation that happened, and that eventually, again, you go to the doctors and get sick. They tell you to go home and quarantine for 14 days, and then you don't have it anymore. So I would like to think over time, and the numbers are going down, that we will eventually get to zero.
Even
So
that, yeah, I don't think we'll be at that where we're gonna have to like take 14 whole days and stuff like that eventually. I think that'll be, you know, a whole different situation as well
right,
from it. But the cruise thing in particular, reason why I harped on that
right.
is, and I told this to my friend Ray, my boy Ray, shouts out to Ray yesterday or whatever. Thing
So
about
Ray,
that, yeah, what's up, Ray? So shouts out to Ray. So thing about that is that um with the cruise, like what happened right now, like if it's still going to be like it is now with the crew, or even a little bit better with the cruise is, if somebody gets it on a cruise while you're in the middle of the ocean, let's say, and they can't really isolate and it spreads, or just even if that person gets it, they won't even letting those boats dock back in the U.S.
right.
for
That's
14
true.
days. Some
Right.
people quarantine. So I think it'll be a small fear for a cruise, because who wants to take a chance of getting stuck in the ocean for 14 days? That was my whole mindset with that.
So this is what's funny. So I've been on 2 cruises, right? Enjoyed it, loved it, right? And we would love to do it again. What do you think you're doing? You're stuck on a boat in the ocean. What do you mean? Like, oh man, I don't want to be stuck in a boat. You were just stuck on a boat for, if you did an 8-day cruise, you were just stuck on a boat for 8 days. Another
Right,
14
but who wants to be
days,
stuck for 14 more? I'm ready to go home. So.
bro. Well, give me another 14. I'll be back in the hot tub. I'll be eating ice cream. I mean, what do you mean? For as long as you ain't charging me, well, I get another 14 days for free. I mean, yeah, at some point I'm ready to go home, but listen, I'll make light of it. Like, all right, I mean, I just tell my job, listen, I was stuck in a cruise ship. I'm just saying. No, I feel like, yeah. Now here's the problem with the cruise ship is because like every cabin we had was low, right? And has no real window. The problem with cruise ship, which was so bad, was it circulated air. So if you're down in the cabin, that's not real outdoor air. That's circulated air throughout the ship. So if somebody's
Right.
sick, that air is being circulated. So more people would likely be able to catch, something a lot faster than if we were walking around outside, as long as you keep your 6 feet away,
Yeah.
especially knowing this thing travels in the air for so long. But
Yeah, it's like how the guys on the submarines were all getting sick at one
oh
point,
yeah, I
you know.
mean, where are you gonna go? And that air is being circulated through. There's no new fresh air.
Right.
But I will say this about the cruise ship is that I think for everyone, let's just choose you and me, right? For everyone who is more cautious about going outside, like yourself, there's someone like me that's not as cautious. And I think if the crew, remember, the big deal that you're not saying is money. So
Yes.
there's huge, cruise ships make money.
Yes.
Businesses makes money. Trust me, for all the people like me, and the cruise ship say, listen, we doing 50% off. Dude, that cruise ship gonna be packed because there's people who we had zero cases for what? I don't know, 2 weeks. Cruise ships at 50% off. I'm on a cruise ship. You won't be, but trust me, people are gonna be there. Plus, here's another thing I think you also don't add is I think a lot of people who have a lot of fear are people who don't go get out that much anyway. Like think about it, there's a lot of elderly people that's like, I'm not doing that. Bro, you wasn't doing that anyway. So I feel like there's a lot of people who are afraid to do things, but those are the people that don't do a lot of things by default. So I feel like the people
Yeah.
who kind of are daring, they're the people that's doing a lot. Like I'm on a cruise ship. Like I have that
Yeah.
nature about me. So I
Yeah,
feel
I don't
like
fall in that boat. This is totally flipped my life upside down. Like I was the person who was more out and about doing
got you.
things, and then it's changing me altogether. So
Yeah,
I'm in that category where
got
it
you.
like pretty much changed the person I am, right now.
Right.
And it's crazy because I am the person who was fearless. So I don't know what it is about this, and I can't put a finger on it, that has changed me internally. So, and even like, my parents are people who were like, yo, I can't believe you of all people, because you're the person who
Right,
takes
right,
all the chances and whatnot. So I don't know if because they show the numbers all the time, the
right.
deaths.
All the chances with the women, but were you really taking chances going doing this and doing that? See?
Yeah, bro. Like
See?
I mean, definitely with the women, but we gotta go there on the show. But no, I would have been a person. I'm outgoing. I see
Right,
people. I go places and stuff like that.
right,
Like this is not my nature and stuff like
right,
that. Like this is the most rest I've ever had in my entire life, even though I'm still working from home.
right.
But I normally Sunday, a holiday, I would have went to 4 different cookouts today. You know what I'm
So
saying?
because you said that, right? Because
Yeah.
since our show is what it is. Look, anything's on the table. What try to see if you could give the audience that's watching what if you were this outgoing guy that did this and that, what is it? Like try to put a finger on it. Why do you think? Because from the beginning you were like, bro, I'm not doing nothing. You bought a bunch. I was telling my friends about you. I was like, yeah, my one friend, yo, he stocked up. He still didn't have to go shopping, because
Yeah.
he wasn't playing around. So what is it that made you be like, this is something different? This is like, because in the beginning, you were the first person I know that said, this is going to change the way we look at the world forever. And I was like,
I
but
remember.
you were right. So what made
I
you
remember.
go in such an alarm? Like what? Come on, man.
I think I appreciate you putting me on the spot like that. No, I'm joking, but
Right.
I think it was because I was following it before it hit the U.S. when it was already in Wuhan in
Okay.
December, and usually you hear about a lot of these things, right? And I know that's probably made you skeptical because you hear there's this new thing in China or
Yep.
Japan or
Yep.
whatever, but then it goes away, right? Whether it's
Right.
somebody's working on they have a nuclear weapon base that we didn't know about
And
or
then
whatever like that.
to
Then it
be
goes away.
fair, for me, when the whole thing started in Wuhan, they had all these videos you see where like people on trucks driving down the street, spraying down the roads with all this foam looking stuff. They showed all these people just dropping dead. I was like, man, if they don't stop, it's like a movie. Like people just walking down the street, just falling dead. So I'm like, so that's why I asked on that one video with my friends podcast. I was like, dude, how does it even really kill you? Like, I feel like the one thing we never talk about, we get into some of the numbers of death. I feel like people shy away from that. But like, how does it even kill you? Like, so
It
to my
attacks your
point,
respiratory system, almost kind of like a pneumonia would a little
right,
bit. So that you're not able to get the oxygen to your blood, and then that's why they put you on a ventilator so it can breathe for you because you're not able
mm-hmm,
to breathe yourself. But then the ventilator's going to do so much, and then eventually you can be that person that dies, especially with underlying conditions.
gotcha.
Yada 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 is what it is. But beyond that, so watching that stuff, I just was always looking, and every day it would get worse. And I'm
Right,
just like, yo, China is some smart people, bro. Like they are very, very smart. Half the stuff we use in our household was made in China. Like, let's be clear.
right,
So,
okay,
um, so when I saw that, and that they couldn't get a hold of it, I was just like, yo, this is something different. And when it first hit the US, that's when I made that statement actually at that particular time.
right,
So I think that was what made me fearful because um, you know, I think it was that and the quickness of the deaths. Some are 2 weeks, but some are 5 days, some are 3 days,
right,
some are 10 days or whatever it is. So it's like if I was diagnosed, let's say, with I don't know cancer, let's say,
mm-hmm,
and the doctor told me, we're gonna try this, that, and the third. Hopefully this works or whatever. I don't think I'm gonna die in a couple of days. And I think this
right,
situation, because of the quickness of it, is I guess what made me as fearful as it is. I guess so
right,
far, overall. Because remember, even the amount of deaths we had, right? Just think about this: the amount of deaths we have, which is now, well over almost 200,000 or whatever it is. But it's only been really in the United States for 2 months, maybe 2 months and a half,
right. You're right.
right? So even if they all got diagnosed on day one, that's fast as hell. How do you know they get diagnosed with cancer, let's say, and die in 2 months? So I think it was the fear that like, and then I think all the stuff they were doing, right? Because it wasn't so much as stuff we known in the past. So that like if you get hospitalized, even to this day, nobody can go in there with you. So pretty much once you go in, they're just praying. They don't know what's gonna happen. So
Right.
the hospital calls and says you either get discharged or you're dead, pretty much. It was that fear of like dying alone. in the hospital on a ventilator. My family don't even know what's going on with me or something like that. And not being able to say goodbye. Like most people who
True.
have those other diseases, they're able to kind of prepare a little bit because it doesn't happen that quick and whatnot. So I think it's more the quickness and the fact that they kind of isolate you right away. And that's pretty much it. I think that's what made me kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean
more
that
feel.
definitely makes sense. I'm just such a skeptic on a lot of stuff. So it's like I almost have to see it to believe it, you know. I question so much. So it's like I believe this, but then I'm also like, yeah, but so when I seen it, those videos in you know, China, it looked like a movie, people just falling dead. I'm like, what is this? The Walking Dead? Are they gonna get back
Yeah,
up?
that's crazy.
Then it was like, so I don't even know if those was even real. Like people just falling out in the street. Like, was that those videos even real?
I didn't even see those. I don't think they were real, but
Okay,
you know,
yeah. And you see, did you
yeah.
see the one where the guys was like on a truck spraying all this stuff in like the streets? It was
I
just
saw
like,
that. I
yeah.
saw
So
that, and that was just that. I think some of that stuff early was just not knowing anything about it and not knowing what to do.
right,
Like spraying the streets is not going to do anything. You know what I mean? That's not how you can catch it. Like
right,
I take walks every day. Like that's not how you catch it. You know what I mean?
right,
Catch it. You know, it's more like you said, being person to person with somebody
right,
and them coughing or sneezing and you inhaling that. So
right.
that's different.
Well, the coughing, yeah, because they said the sneezing is not doesn't come from the sneezing, come from the coughing.
Yeah, coughing or even like what is it? Like saliva particles, I guess.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
the
if you
whole
were to
thing
look.
is it's in your throat. So like when you sneeze, it comes from back here, but it has to come. That's why I said it's the cough because it has to come out of your throat.
Right. So I think
But
that was kind of it for me because I'm telling you, bro, I would have been at like 3, 4 cookouts a day. Like it
right,
just so changed me, and I don't, and I hope just not get deeper that I can get back to my old self. It's a
you
little
will.
different because
Yeah, I
now,
believe you will. Because even with today, my wife was like, man, because you was like thinking, maybe I will come to your house for Memorial Day. And my wife was like, you're missing out. She bought a bunch of shrimp. She bought shish kebabs now. We got a lot of stuff going on. She was like, tell Mike he's missing out. I was like, yeah, he said he's not coming.
yeah. And like the other day about my hair, I told somebody, I said, listen, I'm so used to it now. I see myself in the mirror every day.
Right,
Like I don't even care if I ever get a haircut again at this point.
right.
So not even nothing that really bothers me. So that's that. But yeah, I think that's what it was for me. Initially. But like you said, people are different to get back on topic. So I think the cruises will be packed when they're allowed to open.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. My dad actually had one planned for April or May, and then of course it got shut down. And it was like a $4,000 cruise. He had to get all his
Wow.
money back, stuff like that. But he himself, who had one planned, he said he will wait a couple years before he goes on a cruise at this
Okay.
situation.
Gotcha.
So everybody's different, in their
Yeah,
situation.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward, beyond the cruises. Oh, so I guess you had a question from our show, from my New You Radio show about OnlyFans and Versus. So what was your
Yeah.
question?
Here's my question. I hear like you guys, and I still say this, I want to give New Year Radio credit. I'm 44 years old, right? So I'm not into the culture or
The
um
culture.
huh?
No, you said the culture. It made me laugh. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not into a lot of nuanced stuff. Like I'm kind of a little outdated to a point. Um so like even new music, I'm like, eh. So but I hear listen to y'all show, y'all guys talking about like OnlyFans. They was talking about like I don't even know like I want like I think I know, but I don't really know. So I just wanted somebody to break it down for me. That's why I was actually like hold up. So can you please explain first of all let's do the versus battles first. Like so is the versus battles actually host on Instagram?
Yeah. So the Versus battles are. Here's what I think is also with you that makes it different because you're also a more of a YouTube person,
Yes.
not a,
Yes.
IG live
Yes.
person. So I think that's also why you don't understand a lot of this stuff. So
Yes.
the Versus battles are hosted on IG Live,
Okay.
which is interesting because I don't know why they're not doing it on YouTube. But anyway, they're on IG Live. So it started out with Timberland and Swiss Beats, right? You know who they are, of course.
Yep.
So they had a battle with each other. They play all the songs back to back. They did to see who would win. They took that and took the concept and made it into an entire event. So like almost every weekend, for the most part, they'll take two artists, but two older artists, you know, from
Right.
our time or before, and they go up against each other on IG Live. You can see them both, and each one plays 20 hits, and it's like we vote to see who won the battle,
Mm.
basically. And it's becoming a cultural event because people, first of all, you love those songs growing up,
Right.
for the most part, and then it's like it kind of takes you back, and because especially like about a month ago or before when there's really nothing to do and nowhere to go, it's like I'm at home, listen to my old hits. And also what was good about it was that the artist would then kind of give you a story behind each of the hits you
Okay.
already knew about, but they would say, like Ludacris, for example, right? He said, this beat was actually given to Jay-Z, but Jay-Z was like, I can't really flow that good on this beat or whatever. So he gave it to me, and then I was able to take it and make it this. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's just like
So
backstories and stuff like that.
how
So
long are these battles?
the longest one I seen was well, the longest actual battle I seen was probably like 3 hours because by the
Okay.
time they talk in between and then they play the songs, it can go on for a little bit.
And
The
it's
shortest one
actually
probably like an hour and a half though. You know.
the artist like talking and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the
So
artist. Yeah.
but so help me out. So give a shout out to one of our friends, Chloe. When I seen her live, um like, okay, so my problem with Instagram is I was never on it, and then a friend of mine said, hey, you should get an Instagram to help push your YouTube channel. Now your mom knows. So I said, cool, I'll start one. But I feel like the technology on Instagram is just, to me, like very limited. So it just, like, you can't put a link on a picture. It's only pictures. So when I seen Chloe do her thing, it was real to like see you and me, we're side by side. I got all this space, you got all this space. On Instagram, when I seen her live, it was like half the person was cut off. I feel like, is that how it looks on Instagram live? Because she was live. It was like I can even picture trying to watch a live battle for 3 hours, and it's like it was very, like, I guess, poorly done. Like, remember when she was talking to the guy, he was in the park and she was at home, like
Yeah.
you barely could see her whole body, you barely could see his whole body. Like, I don't know if they just need to pull the camera back. So how does it look when they're doing the
It's more they probably need to pull the camera back a little bit, but um, it doesn't look. I mean, depending on that. Here's the problem with it. I will say it's not an actual production, right?
right?
So it depends on the individuals and their phone or whatever they're using, first of all, and also their Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
That's the problem with it. So we've watched some battles, like for example, Nelly versus Luda. Nelly kept losing Wi-Fi, and it kept coming back. There was probably a storm in St. Louis where his Wi-Fi was messing up throughout the battle.
Right.
So that kind of messed it up a little bit. So that's the issue I see. It looks fine. I mean, it doesn't look as good as YouTube would look. And the other issue is that they only give you an hour for any IG live.
Okay.
So a lot of times they had to like stop the battle and say, we got to start a new IG live and come back in. That's the only other issue I would
Right.
say. But for the event, like I said, man, it just takes you back. And it's the comments people leave. Like I remember this song when I was at my senior prom, or
Right.
just taking me back, or and then they comment like during the battle, like who's winning and who's losing, or why would he play that song? And the artists are choosing the songs they play. So like Nelly, for example, he plays some songs that people even never heard of, or they weren't really hits, while Luda was playing all these hits. So that's why
Right.
kind of how he lost or whatever.
And so
His
they're at their house just picking their selection, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but they'll have like sometimes they try to make it more of a production or whatever. You know what I mean? They might have like a um, a DJ there with him. Like Ludacris had a DJ there with him. You couldn't
Okay.
see the DJ, but he
Right.
was there with him, stuff like that.
So do
People
you
told you they
think
would.
like Luda and Nelly called each other and say, hey, because they had to speak to say, hey, let's battle each other on Instagram?
I think what happens is that I think they called each other, and I also think like I said, Timberland and Swiss Beats put it together. So I
Right.
think they called them like, y'all want to do this? I don't know what they get out of it. Honestly, I don't know the aspects of that,
Right.
but I do because I know they're selling merch right now, versus merch or whatever. That could be what it is. But I think that, and I think the people are like putting together like these mock battles, like who'll be good against each other, and
Right.
then they become real battles. So one of the best ones, to take it back to your time, was Babyface versus Teddy Riley. That was
Oh
probably the
wow.
best one. Yeah, and that took it back to like, late 80s, early
Right,
90s
right,
type of stuff and whatnot. So, and again, those stories were probably the best because you didn't know stuff, like how Babyface got this song to Janet Jackson, or
right,
how Teddy Riley started working with Guy or whoever, you know what I mean? So
right.
those were pretty dope. And even like Teddy Riley played the song from Ghostbusters. I didn't even know that he produced that song and whatnot.
Wow.
Like Ghostbusters 2, I think it was, and whatnot. So just stuff like that was interesting. So that's what it pretty much is. It's just a cultural event. And I think Teddy Riley and Babyface had like 500,000 people watching it at one time, which is pretty good. The one
Well,
on Mother's Day let me finish, was Erica Badu versus Jill Scott.
okay.
But that came more of those two just playing songs with each other rather than a battle. And
Right.
it became like this long, drawn
How
out thing.
how do you even know when it's on?
They tell you, like, if you well, I can tell you, but if you follow some of these people on IG, Nelly, Ludacris,
Right.
Swiss Beats, Timberland, it'll say versus battle on Saturday, 9 o'clock
Right.
or whatever,
It's
9
like
p.m.
it's so
Eastern.
crazy. I feel like it's like an underground world. Like I don't hear nobody talking about it, but I see you guys talk. Like I haven't seen a Facebook post. Like I'm just like, why how do I not know about this? But I
Bro,
kind of
there's
hear you.
500,000 people or more in these battles every week.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like,
Tonight,
why is this like
tonight, tonight is Jagged Edge versus 112 tonight.
right? Yeah,
Actually,
I heard y'all talking about that. Wow.
yeah, in the versus. Who would you have? Since you're an
So I
R&B
heard you
person.
guys talking on the New Year radio. I was a Jagged Edge fan, but I don't 112 had the hits, man. And I'm a
Yeah,
club guy, so I'm like I love dancing. So my thing is I'm more into like reason why I think like for instance like 50 Cent is like the guy because he was a rapper, but he had so many club hits. Like,
right.
and so I feel like Jagged Edge they singing, they was good, but 112 just had it bumping, you know. I feel
So
like
for
112,
you, you would have rather like Teddy Riley than Babyface, because Teddy Riley had those more
right,
like dancing type hits or whatever
right,
like that.
right, yeah, right, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I feel like if you ask me to buy, like I never owned a 112 album, right? But I owned the Jagged Edge album, you know. So that's funny when you think about it. But I would take 112 because they had some standout hits.
Right. Um. So all right. So that's that. That's that. So maybe
Okay,
tonight, even if you join it for a couple minutes and see what it
right.
is, I'll let you know when it's on and let you
Okay.
know where to go to.
Do you like send me a link or something, or do I have
I
to
can send
just?
I can send it to you. I'll send it to you through IG. Yeah, I'll send it
Okay,
to you.
cool.
All you just click on it. So I'll let you know when it's on. Um. So then OnlyFans.
Okay.
So
I don't. So
OnlyFans been
I
out.
don't know if it's a joke, memes. Like I hear, and I hear, Beyonce was like the demon something. What do they call it now?
Demon time.
Demon time. Like, explain this to me, please, because I'm like, is this real? Like, is people really on Instagram with like a page that I guess you subscribe where you pay like $10 a month, and then you're able to watch girls do whatever? Like,
Yeah, so
please,
so let me get to it. So OnlyFans been out forever, like anyway.
really?
It's been not forever, but for a while.
Right.
However, during the pandemic, when let's say strippers couldn't go to the strip club, to make money and whatnot, other girls couldn't do whatever, OnlyFans is now blowing up. Or even like some let's say lower tier celebrities, musicians who are not making money off their residuals, but need like those, let's say, those club appearances they were making money off of,
Right.
right? They can't make them, so this OnlyFans is blowing up now. Um, OnlyFans just means it's a place that somebody can go to pay for you to see you outside of IG, right? So
Okay.
let's just start with what it is.
So it's
Doesn't mean it
not
has
on
to be.
IG.
No, it's through. No, it's not on IG. It's through IG. So you can put an OnlyFans link in your in your um
Your
in your
bio.
description, in your bio,
Yeah.
and they click on that. It'll take you right to the OnlyFans.com, where they'll see your page and they can subscribe to you at that time for a monthly fee. Or
Okay.
they just go to OnlyFans.com and search for you, obviously. But that's a little harder than just going to your bio or whatever.
Right.
So IG provides them the space to get to that bio, basically. So OnlyFans, um, There's some actual porn stars who have OnlyFans, and not porn stars, but girls who do porn, I'll say,
Right, right,
who who have OnlyFans, and they'll use that page, have people subscribe to see them doing sexual acts, stuff like that. There are some girls, the same girls who, let's say, would walk around in a bikini on their IG,
right.
but then on OnlyFans show you their whole body, right? Like
Oh, okay, I got you,
naked
I got
body,
you.
right? Well, they can't do it on IG without getting an IG jail because
Right.
you can't be naked, right? Then there are just girls who just talk to
But
you or whatever.
on
So,
OnlyFans is always for a subscription, right? Because
always subscription, yeah.
yeah,
It's
because I
like
seen
five,
somebody was
but
like,
it's low as $5 a month to whatever. It depends
okay,
on
yeah,
the
because
person.
I seen somebody say something like, oh, why would you do that? And no, you got kids, but I feel like your kids can't see it because because didn't understand, was it free? Can anybody just look? Because
Nah,
somebody made the comments like, oh, you got kids. And it might have been a TikTok and something saying my wife was watching. I heard somebody say, well, if you got kids, why would you do that? And I was thinking like, oh, so is it free? Because then the kids could just stumble on it, or I don't know.
nah, it's got to be subscription, and the person who has it has to have a login and password and all this other good stuff.
Gotcha.
My whole thing was, because I keep seeing people talking about it, like, my whole thing is that sex has been selling since the beginning of time and
Right.
whatnot. And I said this on Josh's Poetic Charm podcast. I guess you didn't watch it yet,
No,
but
not yet.
sex has been selling since the beginning of time. Back to watch Game of Thrones, right, with the brothels and everything. Like it's always been something.
Right.
This is just a newer virtual way to sell it, and it's actually safer because the
Right.
girl's just showing you their naked body through a computer. They're not even like touching anybody and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, and if they were already dancing at a strip club, but a strip club's not open, the same way the person who was cutting hair, but now cutting hair in somebody's garage, they're finding different ways to make
Right.
money. So I don't feel like I don't want to. I hate there's like this negative stigma, like, oh, she must be a hoe because she got an OnlyFans. I
Right.
don't like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
not. You know what?
and
I am a person also that feel like when people be like, "Oh, that girl's a stripper," I feel like, dude, she's just dancing in a club. Now, if she do something that's illegal, that's on her. But if she's just dancing and it's topless or full nude, if the state says you can dance fully, I feel like, that's just another occupation. Do I want my daughter doing it? No, but if my daughter got grown and did it, I mean, that's her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some people do put a stigma on you and make you like you're the super bad person. But I feel like legally, if you're not selling yourself, you know what I mean, especially in New Jersey because it's not legal. But I feel like I'm more about like I don't like weed, right? I'm like against like smoking weed. But dude, if it becomes legal, like, and it pretty much is a lot of places because it's legal, I don't like
yeah,
alcohol. I'm not a big person where I never drank or never smoked before to put it out there, but do you? So I feel like I don't like it, but if you're doing it and it's legal, then what can I say? You could just shut me up. So it's my personal preference versus what's legal, and
yeah.
legal trumps it.
Even morally, for me anyway,
Right,
I don't feel like these girls who are finding a way to support themselves, especially if they're doing the same job they were already doing. If you were already a
right,
stripper, but now you're just stripping on the website, you're still a stripper. So I don't
So
feel like you're doing
let me
anything
ask you
wrong
this.
to me.
What about, because I heard like, what about the couple that says like, okay, we're gonna, we're a regular average couple and we're just gonna start having sex on the OnlyFans page, like do porn.
And that I feel like I was gonna get to that. I don't feel like
Right,
that's bad either. If a girl is on there with her boyfriend having sex
right,
and you are willing to pay for it to watch sex, they're gonna have sex anyway. So now
right,
you're just paying for them to visually, have sex. Then that's on you
right,
or whatever. It's different if she's like, like you said, the girl who's out prostituting with multiple guys and
right,
stuff like that.
right.
But if the couple's like, listen, I don't mind who the hell sees me, then to me, I don't mind.
What I can't fathom that point is that for free, you could just Google boobs and see boobs. For
Here's the
free, you
thing.
could go
I
to
was trying to explain this to.
porn.com.
I'm
But
trying to explain the marketing and the
right,
money aspect to you and to Josh or whatever like
right,
that. How this whole thing works. All right. So, first of all, for the girls, right? What I like for them is the freedom that it now gives them, right? From a girl standpoint. Because like I said, you go to OnlyFans, you got girls from Seattle, Arizona, Tacoma, all rare places, right? Where at one point, going way back, you could only do porn, let's say, in Las Vegas or Los
right,
Angeles,
right,
right? So now they can do it from the comfort of their home in some random rural state that you've never even heard of and stuff like that,
Right.
and still make money. Secondly, when they got in the industry, they had to pass these certain industry standards. Like you had to look like a blonde with
Right.
36 Ds and stuff like, you remember the stuff like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
like that, where now it could be, anybody's type can go in there and try to make money. That's number two. Number three, they're cutting out the middleman, the porn
Yeah.
producer
Yeah.
of
You're right.
past, the porn studio and stuff like that, who was giving them, especially back in the day,
Right.
$500 to do everything under the sun,
Right.
rather than let say I'll make my own money,
And do what I
and do
want.
whatever and do what I want to
Right.
do and whatnot. So I like that aspect, for the woman wise.
Right.
And then lastly, for a stripper, I've seen strippers talk about this. They're like, listen, I don't got to deal with guys trying to grope on me, breaking the rules of the strip club by doing this. I don't have to get all these different outfit changes to do every night. I don't have to worry about getting there and then getting home safe after it closed, or about a guy following me from the strip club after it
Right.
closed. This is me in my house, and for an hour and a half, and I made as much money as I made in the strip club that night. So for those things, I like for the women.
Yeah.
For the mental aspect, it's like this, man. It's almost like a movie with a trailer. They create a buzz. You create a visual reference in your brain. So now we want to see more. So we go to the movies. With the girls, where IG serves its purpose is IG is the trailer. It's the teaser, right? So the
Right.
girls will go on there and lift their shirt to the top of their stomach and say, want to see more? Go to OnlyFans. Of course, you can go to just Google boobs, but you're not going to Google her boobs.
Right.
This girl in
Oh, I
particular
see what you're saying. Yeah, because
has
it's the
intrigued
fantasy
you.
of it. The fantasy
Right.
of like her. It's like if you go
Yes.
to a strip club, you always have your favorite stripper because your fantasy is, man, it would be cool to whatever or see
Right.
more or whatever. And then so you always go and tip her. So IG, you go and see her. You know what? I could Google random boobs, but I can see her boobs. I get it.
Right. It's always what IG has done as this part is created a teaser trailer space for them,
Right.
basically.
For those
For
specific
somebody
people.
to
Yeah,
see.
because I feel like why would I just want to spend money on the OnlyFans when I could just go to porn.com? But
And you
again,
know what
it's
else it
that
is?
specific person.
And like I told Josh, right? Think about this as a guy in general. Most guys, I want to say in general, do guys get more fulfillment by sleeping with the girl who sleeps with everybody, or by conquering the girl who nobody can get?
Right. Yes.
See what
Nobody,
I'm
the
saying?
girl could get.
So I can go to porn and see all this porn from this girl, but this particular girl, I can't just go get her easily. I have to actually subscribe to it. That's
Right.
the mental aspect that kind of works,
Right.
for guys. One more thing, I will say, you don't normally see porn stars in their regular light. When you go to a porn site, you see them naked. They're doing whatever. So by these guys seeing these girls on IG in regular clothes half of the time, walking around, singing, whatever the heck, it's like, yo, I want to see her naked. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right. Right.
it creates more of a fantasy and whatnot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
That's
used to
smart.
live with a girl, right? I'm not to cut you off one last time. I
Mhm.
used to live with a girl one time, and she was the type of girl who was naked all the time and whatnot. Like all the time. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, it didn't matter when it was. And that's
Right.
she liked to be naked. And one time I said, we started talking about it. I said, well, you put on a little something sexy on, whatever. She's like, well, wouldn't a guy want you to be naked all the time? I was like, well, at some point, I've seen it every day, all day. So, no
Wh-
longer the
You know
fantasy
what?
for me.
It's a good point because when I moved to Florida and I went to strip club there, it was like fully nude. And it was like the thought of it was cool. Then after a while, I was like, I'd rather that peeling back slowly. And then even everything isn't fully. So then you don't really always see everything. So you got that fantasy of like, I wonder.
That's what happens, and
Yeah.
now these guys don't have to wonder because they can go subscribe. And some are as low as $5 a month. I said I would ever do it because
Right.
I don't need to, but I know why it happens. So I don't knock the guy because he can, of course, Google he can go. You can watch. You can be stuck in your house for the next 20 years and not run out of porn to watch
Right.
right now
For
without
free.
even
For
new porn
free.
for free,
Right.
without even new porn going on there right now
Right.
today, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's not that particular girl who's created that fantasy for you. Because you got to think, some of these guys might have been following this girl for the last 2 years regularly,
Right.
right? And now she got an OnlyFans. It's like mind
Like
blown.
her? Really?
Yeah,
Right.
right, right. I want to see her naked for like 2 years now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you gonna pay for the $5 and stuff like that. So that's basically what it is. So I try to like when I jumped on Josh's show, because you know me, I hate when people just go women bashing and stuff like that, man.
Right.
So I try to give all sides, and I just
I'm
didn't
with
like
you. I'm
that.
with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, and I just didn't like that. Like, I don't want to put a stigma on something that, that it's just a new avenue to me. There's
Right.
been brothels, there's been porn, there's been sex houses and stuff like that. And you know what in those brothels, if you go back to them, or those or even in the 70s with a pimp, you know what they had? Always somebody else to pay. These girls are like, look, I'm in my house, I'm paying my own self or whatever.
Right. No, I
Whatever
agree.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting question. I'll ask you, like I asked my friends, right? If, let's say you were a single man and stuff
Okay.
like that, right? And a girl had a OnlyFans and stuff like that, and she was making money off of it. And she decided instead of just showing new pictures, she wanted to like do sexual stuff, but she don't want only want to choose one guy because she don't
Right.
want to be, getting around. Let's say if she say, "Yo, can you be that guy for me?" But you guys do not in a relationship or whatever. But essentially you're her male model. So
Right.
she would go in there and do sexual things to you, only show your bottom half, so your top wouldn't be on there at all.
Right.
And you're just a model, but you're not getting none of the money. Like, this is all my money. I need you to do this for me. Would you do it? Is the question.
Okay. I was all in until you told me I can't get any money. I'm like, I just feel like it's not. I don't know. All right. So here's the thing. I'm gonna sleep with her anyway. Um, and I'm always been a free spirited kind of guy. So listen, we could record a porn or something, right? And if you don't see my face, hey. But I think the part that will bother me is because you're not doing it by yourself. You need me in order to do the act to make money, and I can't get any money. I think I like business, and I feel like yeah, we were gonna do it anyway, but now you're making money. Like it's not like you're there by yourself, right? And
Right, right.
yeah, you're using me. So I feel like I don't know if I'll be too cool with not getting some of the money. That might be my hang up, you know? And the funny thing is, like, dude, I would have did it. Did it for free, right? But as soon as I realized you would have been making money and you say, I'm not giving you none at all, it would have been like, it's kind of like a business transaction. It's like, I don't know now. I kind of feel, I definitely feel used. Not sexually, I feel used financially. Like, you're not going to give me nothing.
See,
So,
all my friends said they feel like they're benefiting by getting the sex. So you just take the money.
right.
You doing all this stuff to me for free, or not for free, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
So my answer to that, my counter to that is I've always been a little different from my friends.
yeah,
My friends, I tell you, I look at my friends. You guys are consumers. You're always arguing. Oh, I buy a game, it should be a little cheaper. I'm a business guy. I'm always like, the company got to make money. You want stuff for free. It drives me crazy. And that's the guy like, dude, I'm sleeping with her. Oh, well, I'm kind of the guy like, I don't know, man. How much money is she making off of me? Like, because you're not doing it by yourself. Like I'm as important in this scene, video, whatever, as she is. So I feel
got
like
you.
I'm not just the guy to be like, I feel like it's my opinion, it's small thinking to be like, as long as I'm sleeping with her, like I can sleep with, like, no, bro, you making money off of me. And I feel like for me, yeah, I would probably be like, maybe if we were super cool, I'd be like, you know what, I'm good with it, whatever. But then eventually, I'll see her like, man, I've been making a lot of money, and I'd be thinking like, well, why can't I get a cut? Like, because I guess that was the original agreement. Like but you can't make any money. Okay, cool. I like you. We already do what we do. Go ahead, make money off of it. I'll be your model. But then eventually, because of my business, I'd be like, man, you're kind of getting beat over the head. Now if I was just a guy that I got a YouTube channel, I'm trying to build it. My brain is always like progression. I'm not doing this just for nothing. And let's be clear. If I had sex with my wife last night, tomorrow, next week, it is what it is. Like eventually sex is sex. So I feel like, but money, money is money, but money can propel you somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Right.
like we're started here and you're going like here. If we keep having sex, we just gonna keep having sex. So we always gonna stay here. But if somebody's making money off of it, somebody's going like this. and somebody
Huh.
isn't. So that's what
Yeah.
my hang up
That's
would
actually
be.
a really good counter. You know
Oh
what?
yeah,
You know, because most guys I've talked to, like, hell yeah, she
yeah,
can do whatever she wants to me. You know what I mean? I don't care.
yeah.
But when you
They're a
think about it,
consumer. They're,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'll stand in line, this long line to buy a product. I want to be the guy selling the product. Like that's just
right.
always been me. Like I, you know,
Right. And when you think about it, I agree with you. The more time passes, as I see her bank account getting more, she's wanting more,
right.
it would start to upset me at
Yeah,
a
it
certain
would.
point. Like,
At first you'd be like, "Yo, she's bad." Telling your boys, "Yo, give me a high. How many high fives? What do you get out of that high five?" Or yo, like we're not young anymore, where that was a
right,
big deal. That's a
right.
young-minded thing to me. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, back in like something Jazz said on New You Radio was really important." He was like, yeah, I was talking about the girl who said, "If a guy can't pay for everything, don't even
Yeah.
waste my time and be with him." He said, I mean, that's a young mind. He's like, what is she like, 25? Because maturity is when you're like, we're building something together. So I feel like
Right.
young minded is like, yo, I'm sleeping with the baddie, bro. But when I'm getting older, I'm like, yo, I got bills, I got whatever, and we're doing whatever, and you're making money and I'm not. I'm not a consumer, man. I'm a businessman.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of makes a lot of
This is
sense. Maybe like
business, man.
I might give you like one scene, but after that, like where my money at? Like
Yeah, like something. Like, come on, you. Yeah,
that. Right.
you ain't just taking me to lunch. No, no, no. I want some type of. I need royalties. Like, you know, I like
Right.
residual income, just like you do. So,
Right.
like, I'm a.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, yo, you actually
No,
make a lot of
man.
sense because yeah, I'll tell you, every guy I ask that
Right.
because you know what I'm noticing is that that is a lot of the trends that the girls are either when they do stuff are using their boyfriends or the
Right.
same guy who might not be their boyfriend.
Right.
So, and I don't know the whole money aspect
Right.
of it all, but I can imagine some of the guys just jumping on it for the sex part. Like, yeah,
Right.
you can get.
Right.
I mean, for lack of a better word, you can give me heads. I don't mind. I don't care. Like, whatever,
Right.
whatever. But you're right. If I'm in the scene, I need to get some money too of this situation.
Yeah,
So
because it's weird because when you think about it, we as guys, right, we're sexual, we hold pleasure so high, but
yeah,
realize it's just a feeling. It's gonna be
yeah,
gone. So like if
right,
you're a guy who like I've been married 3 times, like I had a lot of sex. If I die right now on camera, like bro, I'm not gonna be in heaven like, man, I wish I would have had more
yeah,
sex. Like, no, I'm
yeah,
good. But well,
yeah.
I would like to have a lot more money.
Right, right,
So
right,
like,
right.
you
You know
know,
what? That was one of the smartest things you said on here. That's pretty good, bro.
thank you, sir.
Actually,
There's a
and
lot
then
more
move.
layers. It's a lot more layers to me and my but Mike, that comes with age and wisdom and experience and maturity. Now, if you asked me this 10 years ago, bro, long as yo, you see that curve? Come on, man. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Age and wisdom and maturity. Because most of my guys have said that actually. So
yeah, man.
it's interesting. So I'm actually going to reform the question now for them and see what
Yeah,
they think about it. Now that you
that's
said that
cool.
a
Yeah.
little bit. So, but moving on, I brought in one because you're a video game player,
Oh,
topic,
cool.
and but I'm not. So I try to keep it to more so we both can answer the question, and because I used to be. So I said, what was your favorite video game? Also, I want to know this anyway about you. Your
Hmm.
favorite video game, and I want to say growing up or more like of the 90s, I want to say. And
Oh,
what did you play all the
oh yeah, so
time?
you want to make it where something you would have known, right?
Yeah,
Like
well,
you, yeah,
or played. Because I was a big gamer back then. So,
right.
yeah.
Uh, in the 90s. Um,
So this is,
I yeah.
let's say pre Xbox. That would be. So,
Yeah, I'll just throw this out there. I was talking about this the other day. Was it you? You and me talking about how come I didn't see the Tomb Raiders?
I think maybe you and Josh, maybe. I
Yeah, it
don't
might
know.
have been
Yeah.
Josh. Well, anyway, I was saying I didn't watch the Tomb Raider movies because back in the day, you put your stake in the ground. It was like, yo, my sneaker is better than yours. I like this car. You like this car. With video games, Resident Evil came out. It was a big deal. And then Tomb Raider came out, was a big deal. And I was a Resident Evil guy. So I vowed to never play. Like I played the very first Tomb Raider and I played the first Resident Evil. I was like, Resident Evil is my thing. So Resident Evil was probably, and that was in the late 90s. So yeah, I want to say Resident Evil Part 1 was in the 90s.
Okay. I
Yeah.
want to reform the question too,
Okay.
by the way. Second. And that's good. No, keep that one. but because that's a different genre. So we're gonna add genres in here. So how about
Okay.
you got Resident Evil?
Right.
What's your favorite fighting game of that time period?
Oh man. Okay, so my favorite fighting game is Tekken. Tekken, I spent the most amount of hours on. But I will say this, and I have to look at time wise. Yeah, PlayStation 1 came out in the late 90s. I'm pretty sure.
96.
I was 96. All right, yeah. So actually my favorite fighting game of all time was Battle Arena Toshinden. And that
Okay.
was a PlayStation 1 exclusive. So yeah, that was
Okay.
a Sony game. Yeah. So Ballerina Toshinden. I spent the most amount of time playing the Tekken series, but and almost the same with Mortal Kombat. But Ballerina Toshinden was my personal favorite fighting game because Tekken was only hands. Street Fighter, you could shoot stuff and do punch in. Mortal Kombat, you had people doing crazy stuff, but Toshinden was 3D. You could punch, you could kick, you had swords, you had guns, like it was so vast that it blew my mind that you have different characters. One dude got a big club, one girl got a whip. Yeah, that was my favorite hands down fighting game of
Okay.
all time, even period. Like
Oh,
that's my
still to this day.
yeah, to this day, I wish they would make a new series because that was my favorite fighting game. And it came out in
Wow.
the 90s, so I'm able to add that. Now, if you
Wow.
want to back up to older, right? I was in, which you should know, if you're a Sega Genesis guy, I was into Eternal Champions.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Eternal
yeah.
Champions was my game back in the day because it was like
Gotcha.
Mortal Kombat because it had its own type of fatality or stage fatalities, and it was brutal. The combos like that, I was really into that. If you want to take it back,
Right.
but
That's still
but
90s though.
yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, definitely. And you were never a sports game guy, right?
no, I mean I was into um John Madden way back in the day. I used to like
Okay.
Tecmo football. Um,
What about
Tecmo foot,
boxing?
huh?
What about any boxing games? No, none of that
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah. Definitely boxing. Yeah, I mean boxing is almost a fighting game. Yeah, I was into
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I was definitely into boxing games. Buster Douglas. Yeah, I was into boxing games. You take it back to Mike
Mike
Tyson
Tyson
Punch
punch out.
Out. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
everybody played Punch Out, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not even
yeah.
fair. Like yeah,
No.
but
Because
yeah, I definitely was. I was
and
into
nobody could beat Mike Tyson. I remember that. So
yeah, I was into even later on, um they had
Fight Night.
yeah, Fight Night. Yeah. Yeah, those used to be
Yeah.
my games. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight Night. That was like 2002 or something, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good though. It was really good. So mine,
Okay.
fighting games, I would say was see, I like the Tekken, and of course, I like Mortal Kombat, but I like shooting stuff. So I was into, of course, Street Fighter 2. Everybody
Okay.
had Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably one of the most popular fighting games of all time, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
But I like when they put it together. So I love the like Marvel versus Capcom. Those are my
Ooh,
thing.
yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, I
yeah.
was a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan. I actually won some tournaments in Marvel vs. Capcom. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel versus Capcom was mine.
But
I
which one
just
though? Marvel vs. Capcom what? Part one,
two
part two.
probably.
Okay,
Nah, part
yes.
two.
Yeah.
Part two. Yeah. That was the one.
Yeah.
That was the one that had like a Kuma on there.
Yep.
The combinations. I love the high jumping and stuff like
Yep.
that. Like those were my games. And then it's crazy because let me see, 2000. I want to say 13 or 14. Yeah, it's like 6 years ago. I was working at this job,
Okay.
and the job had, you would love this job, bro. They had arcade in our break room for all of our breaks and
Wow.
lunches or whatever. So they had not like a whole bunch, but they had a
Yeah.
racing game. I think it was like Cruising USA. Remember that
Yeah.
jump? It was like that. And then it had the pinball, and it had Ninja Turtles 2 from back in
Ooh.
the day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it had Marvel vs. Capcom. So they had us for our breaks and lunches. So we would like get into like tournaments at the
Right.
job and stuff like that. And we would like have a whole tier tournament
That's
and
cool.
for our breaks
Yeah.
and lunches. But what happened was, as you know, being a gamer, arcade person, we would get so into it, we would go over our breaks, over our lunches and
Like,
stuff.
what did they think they was doing?
Right. All the time and stuff like that. To a point they had to wind up unplugging it, and now we can't have this no more. But
Right.
it was free gameplay, bro, on breaks and lunches. Like who wouldn't do that, the whole time. So
Wow.
it was just yeah. I said you would have loved that place. My God.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But that got me back into it and realized how much I really love, those games, stuff like that. So I like throwing the fireballs, stuff like that. So
Okay. Wow.
um
So your all-time favorite would be Marvel vs. Capcom. That's
favorite
cool.
game?
No, fighting game.
All-time favorite fighting game, yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom. Sports game would definitely be they don't make it no more, but NBA Live. I like Live more than 2K that people play now and stuff like that. And then I was never into like the RPG type games and stuff like that. Like they weren't really my deals. I never had the patience for them for some reason.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I
Those games you had to like suck yourself in with the character and the story. So you needed a lot of patience. Yeah.
a lot of patience or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I remember Final Fantasy VII was so huge when I was in school.
That's what I was about to say, man.
Yeah,
Final
but
Fantasy.
didn't
I
that game
remember.
take like 20 like 15 hours to finish something? It was
No,
like crazy
way
to me.
more than that. Way more than 15 hours. Yeah, these things like
Yeah,
a work week. Like
yeah,
yeah, no, dead
right.
serious. Like the game, like to be able to do everything was like 40 hours, and I might be
Yeah,
shy of. It might have been more than that. Like they remade that, so they just
yeah.
remade it.
I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Zelda was huge back in the day. I remember that too,
yeah,
and stuff like that. But you know what I did like? Going back to taking it back, like you said, I guess this was kind of a role playing game, or I don't know, action adventure, but more of the before like Nintendo. I love Mega Man too. That was one of my
yeah,
things too, or
yep,
whatnot. So, I thought that was dope
yeah.
actually.
I was a
So.
big Mega Man fan. Mega Man Part 2 was my game.
Yeah. Mega
Yeah.
Man 2, definitely. And then I guess Double Dragon, was that more of a, because it wasn't really a fighting game. I don't know
No,
what that was.
that would be that would be a beat 'em up. So like a 2D side scroller, but a beat 'em up. It was like
Okay.
Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, Final Fight. Those was all
Yeah.
like the 2D side scroll beat 'em up. So it's just two dudes walking and just fighting people until yeah. And
Till you
they
get to the next
just
stage.
so they waited 26 years later, but about 3 weeks ago, Streets of Rage 4 just came out. So it's
Right.
26 years after Part 3. They just made Streets of Rage 4.
Wow. You playing it, right? You playing it?
Yeah, I beat it already and unlocked all the characters. Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's
Well, I guess you
quarantine,
got no.
bro. Well, I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm
do
about
it.
to say you got nothing but time. So
Yeah.
what else you gonna do? Whatnot. But anyway, that was a little light to end our show.
Yes, sir.
I got nothing else on topic for today. We finally got another episode out there. We're also going to bring you another episode of a review pretty soon.
Yep.
We'll talk about that after the show. But thank you guys for listening. Always like, comment, and subscribe. Any topics you may have, please let us know. Anything else, Ant?
Just want to second everything you're saying, guys. I just want to say thank you so much. This is the 7th episode, and we are doing this because we love to chat between each other, but we're also doing it because you guys are tuning in and watching. So we just want to say thank you one more time.
We do appreciate it. All right, have a good one.
All right, take care.